Dear students, this is our sixth lecture on molecular rearrangements, and continuing on this process, today we will discuss Curtius rearrangement. The Curtius rearrangement, which is also known as Curtius reaction or Curtius degradation, is the thermal decomposition of carboxylic azides into isocyanates, and these isocyanates, depending upon the type of reagent used, can be converted into different types of organic products. And if we hydrolyze these isocyanates with water, then we will get amines as products. If we react these isocyanates with alcohols, then we will get carbamates as products. Whereas dye-substituted ureas, they are formed as product if we react these isocyanates with amines. Now, if you see this reaction, this is similar to what we have seen in case of Hoffman rearrangement. In Hoffman rearrangement, only difference was that the substrates, they were different, but we were getting amines as the product. There, amides, they were converted into amines on hydrolysis of isocyanates, whereas here we are using carboxylic azides. But the intermediate form in Curtius rearrangement and Hoffman rearrangements, they are same. There also we have got isocyanates as the intermediates, and there also if we react the isocyanates with these types of different organic compounds for hydrolysis or further reaction, we will get the same type of products. So the products formed in case of Hoffman rearrangement and Curtius rearrangements, they are same, except that the substrate which we are using, that is different. Now, in addition to thermal decomposition, photochemically also these azides, they can be converted into isocyanates. So what happens is that when acyl azides, they are irradiated with UV light, they are first converted into nitrines, and then these nitrines, they undergo rearrangement to give us isocyanates as the product. But the problem with photochemical Curtius reaction is that here we will get some side products which are formed by insertion reaction to the nitrine or addition reaction to the nitrines, which are formed as intermediate, and some unwanted side products, they are formed because of that. So for example, if we are doing the photochemical irradiation of this azide in presence of cyclohexane as solvent, then in addition to the normal rearrangement product, that is phenyl isocyanate, we will get this N-cyclohexyl benzamide as a side product, which is formed in 40% yield, whereas this is formed in 51% yield. So an appreciable amount of this side product is formed, and this has been formed by insertion of the nitrine into this carbon hydrogen bonds of the cyclohexane, which otherwise we have taken taken as a solvent to perform this reaction under photochemical condition. So photochemically, if we are to undertake the Curtius rearrangement, then some side products, they are also expected along with the isocyanates. Then some applications of Curtius rearrangement. Curtius rearrangement has many applications, and they are used significantly for different types of product formation in terms of drugs and pharmaceuticals. For example, for protection of some functional groups, we can synthesize Bog protected or benzamide protected amines through this Curtius rearrangement. So, for example, if these acyl azides they are decomposed thermally, then nitrogen gas will be eliminated and we will get these types of isocyanates. And as I have told you that if these isocyanates they are reacted with alcohols, for example, if we react this with tertiary then these Bog protected carbamates they are formed. So for the protection of this functional group, we are using tertiary butanol as a preferred reagent. Similarly, if we react these isocyanates with benzyl alcohol, then benzyl protected carbamates they will be formed. So these isocyanates they can be used for protection of different functional groups by treatment with different type of alcohols like tertiary or benzyl alcohol. Then there are some modifications of Curtius conditions also. One such modification which is very commonly used these days is Shiori Ninomiya Yamada modification. Here the carboxylic acids they are used as substrates instead of azides, and azides they are formed in situ during the reaction when these carboxylic acids they react with diphenyl phosphoryl azide DPPA. This is the structure of DPPA, diphenyl phosphoryl azide. When we will react any carboxylic acid, say this is the carboxylic acid group which will react with the DPPA. The azide group from here will be transferred to this keto group, and OH from the carboxylic acid will be transferred to DPPA. So an exchange reaction will take place. This will form the azide of this carboxylic acid during the reaction, and when this azide is heated in presence of methanol, you know, when this azide will be heated, azide formed from this carboxylic acid, this will be transformed into isocyanate, and that isocyanate then will react with methanol to give us these types of carbamates as the product. So these carbamates they are formed in 89% heat, and you can see the reaction is so selective that neither this ether linkage or nor these carbon-carbon double bonds they are affected during the reaction, and only this functional group transformation takes place from carboxylic acid to carbamate through isocyanates. And this is a very good reagent DPPA for conversion of direct conversion of carboxylic acids into different types of organic compounds like carbamates or amines. If we react this instead of methanol, if we use water, then we will directly get amines as the product. Similarly, another example is this tetrahydrofurane derivative. When this is reacted with DPPA, you can see over here this is an ester group, these are ether groups, and this is the carboxylic acid group. So what DPPA will do, there will be an exchange of azide group with the hydroxide group of the carboxylic acid, and in situ formation of azide will take place at this position, and then that azide will be transformed at this 80° centigrade with thermal degradation will lead to the formation of the isocyanate, and that isocyanate then react with tertibutanol and the Boag protected carbamate that will be formed during the reaction, and this product is formed in 64% amount. So these are very important applications of this modification, S and Y modification. This is known as Shiori Ninomiya Yamada modification of using carboxylic acids as substrates instead of direct involvement of azides. Then some drugs, they have been also synthesized as part of the steps for formation of those drugs is Curtius rearrangement. For example, divodiamine, which is a natural product extracted from the plants of Divodia ruticarpa, and this is used as a traditional Chinese medicine. So Unsworth and et al. They used the total synthesis for this drug, divodiamine, and here the first step which was used in the total synthesis of this medicine was Curtius rearrangement, and this Curtius rearrangement in this case was catalyzed by boron trifluoride as a Lewis system. So the first step, for example, is this indole carboxylic acid, indole propionic acid, when reacted with DPPA and triethylamine, we know that DPPA and triethylamine will transform the carboxylic acid into carboxylic azide, and then this azide on thermal degradation will lead to the formation of isocyanate, and that isocyanate will react with BF3 ethylate to give us this type of intermediate, which will create a positive charge on this oxygen, and then because of this this cyclization will take place and we will get this type of heterocyclic compound as the product, and then this heterocyclic compound through different further organic functional group modification will be converted into this Chinese medicine, which is called as divodiamine. So basically, what I want to say is that in the total synthesis of divodiamine, the first step which is used for the total synthesis of divodiamine is Curtius rearrangement. So this is the importance of Curtius rearrangement, that this is used in the synthesis of many types of drugs. Then this is another drug where the Curtius rearrangement is one of the key steps in the synthesis of this drug. So this drug, this is oseltamivir, which is an antiviral drug. This is also known as Tamiflu, which we very commonly known as, and this is used for the treatment of avian influenza. So here what happens is this carboxylic azide, this is the functional group which is involved in the reaction. This is acetyl group, this is an ether linkage, this is an ester linkage, and this is a nitro compound. So this cyclohexyl azide derivative, when this is reacted with acetic acid in acetic anhydride, at room temperature for 4 to 9 hours, this azide will be first converted into isocyanate, and then that isocyanate will react with acetic acid and acetic anhydride, and we will get N-acetylamines as the product. And these N-acetylamines, formation of N-acetylamines from these azides is Curtius rearrangement, and then through different steps, further organic functional group transformations, they will take place. Here the oxidation of this part will take place with the removal of hydrogen from here and acetyl from here. The dehydration uh, dehydrogenation will take place with the removal of this, so saturated carbon carbon bond will be converted into unsaturated carbon carbon double bond. Similarly, reduction of this nitro group will take place to amine under different conditions, and then this N-acetyl amine will be converted into oseltamivir drug, which is also known as Tamiflu. The final product is formed in 50% yield. Then the synthesis of another very important polycunene tricunazine derivative. This is tricunazine. This can also be synthesized from through Curtius rearrangement. So here what happens is this is an ester intermediate, and this ester anhydride through different organic functional group transformations by hydrolysis is converted into this dicarboxylic acid, and then this dicarboxylic acid, when treated with thionyl chloride, we know thionyl chloride react with carboxylic acids to give us acid chloride. So this OH and this OH of the carboxylic acid, they will be converted into acid chlorides. So this OH will be replaced by Cl, this OH will be replaced by Cl, and then this acid halides, they will react with sodium azide, and then these groups, they will be converted into azide at both these ends. So Cl, which is formed in the first step over here, will be converted into azide. Cl over here will also be converted into azide. So diazide will be formed on reaction with thionyl chloride and NaN3. Then on heating, this diazide, will be converted into isocyanate, and that isocyanate will further react with methanol, and we will get these types of dicarbamates as the product. So these dicarbamates, they are found in 84% yield, and then through different functional group transformations and different dehydrogenation reactions, these groups, they will be removed, and we will get tricunazine as the product, and this product is formed in 84% yield, and further transformation through different steps will lead to the formation of the desired product. But here the conversion of this acid to this carbamate is our Curtius rearrangement. So overall transformation of this ester anhydride into this tricunazine leads through Curtius rearrangement. So this is again an important application of Curtius rearrangement. Then there are some variations which have been seen over the years in Curtius rearrangement. One such variation is known as Darapaxi degradation or Darapaxi synthesis. So this is a variation of Curtius rearrangement. Here the substrates which are used for conversion of alpha cyanoesters into amino acids, and here what happens is in the first instance alpha cyanoesters, they reacted with hydrazine. Say this hydrazine will react with this ester part, and they will give us acyl hydrazine, alpha cyano acyl hydrazines as the intermediates. When then this acyl hydrazines, they will react with nitrous acid, and these acyl hydrazines, they will be converted into azides. So basically you can see that in case of Curtius rearrangement, we start from azides, whereas in case of Darapaxi degradation, we start with alpha cyanoesters, which through these acyl hydrogens they are converted into azides. And then we know that azides, when they are thermally heated, they will get converted into isocyanates, and those isocyanates they will react with ethanol to give us these types of formates, alpha cyanoformates. And these alpha cyanoformates on hydrolysis in presence of HCl, 20% HCl on refluxing, they will be converted into these types of amino acids. So basically what happens is hydrolysis of this part will lead to the formation of amines, and hydrolysis of cyano will lead to the formation of carboxylic acid. So this is how we can directly synthesize amino acids from alpha amino esters. So this is a modification of Curtius rearrangement, Darapaxi degradation. And then another variation is the rearrangement of a phosphenic azide. So you can see there in Curtius rearrangement we have used carboxylic azides, but here we are using phosphenic azides as the substrate. So when photochemical light is radiated with these phosphenic azides, they are converted into phosphony imidates. So these types of phosphorus nitrogen double bonded compounds they are formed, which are called as metaphosphonimidates. They are formed, and these on reaction with the methanol they are converted into phosphonamidates. So amidates they are formed as the products. Phosphenic azides they are converted basically into phosphonoamidates as the product, and this reaction is known as Hurger reaction, and this takes place only under photochemical conditions. And you can see over here that in case of Hurger reaction there are two different R groups which are present, R and R1. So when the formation of this intermediate, that is metaphosphonimidates is formed, then one of the R group is to migrate to the nitrogen. So the migration of this R group is depending mainly on steric and conformation factors. So it has been observed that alkyl groups they migrate in preference to aryl group if such a combination is there, that one group is alkyl group and other group is phenyl group, then alkyl group will migrate in preference to the aryl group. Whereas among the alkyl groups, methyl will migrate less than primary will migrate less than secondary, and secondary will migrate less than tertiary in the order of migration. So we can say that tertiary will migrate in preference to secondary, secondary in preference to primary, primary in preference to methyl. So this is the increasing order of methyl migration. Then in the synthesis of some important biologically active alkaloids, also the use of Curtius rearrangement has been observed. For example, the two important alkaloids, tylophorin and cryptoplurin alkaloids, both of these they show anti-tumor activities, and these have been synthesized from these carboxylic acids through DPPA and BF3 etherate combination. So in the first instance what happens is we know that when DPPA reacts with carboxylic acids, then azides they are formed. So these carboxylic acids, they they will be transformed into carboxylic azides like this. And we know when these azides they are thermally heated, they will be converted into isocyanates. So these carboxylic acid are first converted by DPPA into azides, and then on heating they are converted into isocyanates, and these isocyanates then react with BF3 ethyrate, and a cyclization at this place will take place, and we will get these types of cyclic products. And then through different steps, these heterocyclic compounds, they can be converted into these two alkalis, stylopurine and cretofluorine alkalides. So if this R is H and this N is 1, then we will be getting tylofurine alkalide, whereas the cretofluorine alkalide will be formed if this R is methyl and this N is. So depending upon the ring size, we will get tylofurine or cretofluorine alkalide as the product through Curtius rearrangement of these carboxylic acids into these alkaloids. Then the Curtius rearrangement has been extended to fullerene also. So unprotected Bach fullerenes, they have been synthesized through Curtius rearrangement. When these carboxylic acid chlorides of fullerenes, they are reacted with the tributyl tin azide, we know that this azide will be transferred to this halogen. So tributyl tin chloride will be formed and acid azide of this fluorine will be formed. And then this azide will get converted first into when this is reacted in presence of bromobenzene as solvent, then this will be first converted into isocyanate, and then on reaction with trishbutanol, the N-Bach derivative of this fullerene will be formed. So this is again a very good example of Curtius rearrangement. So the Curtius rearrangement has now been extended to fullerenes also. So these are the references which have been used for preparing this lecture. A book on named reaction by J.J. Lee, and some internet sources they have been used for completing this lecture. Thank you very much.